The last draft email from my girlfriend's brother. A small bit of preface to this, I guess. I'm not that good of a writer, but I'll give it my best shot. My girlfriend Allison's brother Rick was reported missing about a month ago. All the police found was a single blood stain on the carpet below his desk and his still running laptop with bloody fingerprints on it. No doors or windows were forced open. His front door was still firmly locked when the cops eventually broke it open. I'm getting off topic, sorry. The inspector gave me a draft email which they apparently recovered from Rick's laptop and asked me to show it to Allison. He even delivered that cliché line of calling him if she thought of something. I just read through it and I'm not sure I should be showing her this. It seems a little weird, and with her already being fascinated by the occult, I'd much prefer if she didn't get involved in all of this. Anyways, I thought I'd ask for your guys' opinion on it. You seem to be more knowledgeable about this stuff than I am. To me, it just looks like the ramblings of some guy on something he shouldn't be on. Here goes. If you asked me whether or not I believed in the paranormal a few weeks ago, I would have laughed at you and told you to try selling your Sixth Sense book to somebody else. Now, I'm more than willing to believe in poltergeists, ghostly apparitions, or whatever you've got written about in that book of yours. God, I wish the things scratching at my door, peering underneath the crack as I'm typing this, were just mere ghosts. I wish they'd disappear the minute I swung open my door and yelled at them. The gash on my left arm shatters that hope before it even had a chance to root itself in my mind and form something for my sanity to latch onto. I'm in the last room in the house that still has a working light, though I'm not sure how long this one will last. Allison, if this reaches you, well, the least I can do is warn you about them. It started a week ago. The light switch I told you about that kept malfunctioning, the one in the basement, it broke again. Or at least, at the time, I thought it did. The electricity bill is going to be through the fucking roof, I remember thinking to myself. Every time I'd leave the basement, it would flip back on. The strange thing was, it never happened when I was looking at it. The moment I'd go up the creaky wooden stairs and close the doors, the faintest click would be audible through the thin plywood door. I'd swing it open, and every single time, the basement light would be on again. I called Tim over to come take a look at it. You remember him, one of Dad's friends? I believe you met him last Christmas during family dinner. I hope they're not following him as well. I don't know how many people I got involved into this. Anyways, he spent almost 3 hours following every cable, even fully taking apart the switch itself before he finally gave up. Shrugging while his heavy boots stomped up the stairs. No idea. I hate leaving you here with a broken switch, but I can't find a single faulty wire or anything that would indicate that it's a hardware problem. If I didn't know better, I'd say there's a ghost in your cellar fucking with you, were his words. He probably wasn't too far off, come to think of it. His solution had been to simply flick the switch off and tape it down. I'd have to bring a flashlight whenever I went into the basement from then on, but at least it would have been worth it, or so I thought. As soon as Tim left, I could swear I heard ripping coming from the basement, as if someone was ripping apart pieces of cloth. My eyes grew wide as I realized what the ripping was. The tape. Something was ripping off the tape. I swung the door open to confront whatever was frantically trying to turn the light back on, but I was greeted with something entirely different. My basement was filled to the brim with glowing red eyes, barely visible in the darkness until one shot up the stairs. It must have only been seconds before I slammed the door shut, desperate to keep it contained to the small concrete room. But that sight will never leave my memory for the rest of my life, however short that may still be. The eyes and appendages were the only thing that looked remotely human. I don't even know how to describe the rest of those things. Its mouth was a gaping hole, no teeth, no tongue, just pure blackness, an empty void. On the end of each of its arms were 3 long claws, which it used to dig into the walls and fling itself around at a speed I couldn't even track with my eyes. One of those claws is the reason for the wound seeping out blood on my arm at the moment. Painful, but shallow enough to not be critical. Its skin, jet black. Its entire being evolved to be nearly invisible in the dark. That's when it hit me. Even though the creature moved at a speed at which it could have easily stopped me closing the door, it just stood there, the wood of the staircase creaking under its weight. I looked up as I backed away from the closed door, my chest heaving with panic. The light in the hallway was on. They're scared of the light, Allie. It scares them, or hurts them, or God knows what, but they won't set a single foot in a lit area. I ran upstairs. I don't know why I did it, but I ran upstairs and locked myself in. It's 2 a.m. I can't go outside. That's where they thrive. I thought I'd be safe in the confines of my room. I thought they wouldn't get to me. How could I forget Allison? I know you won't believe half of what I've written here. Please promise me you'll call the police before you set foot in the house. Tell them to bring flashlights. Fucking hell, tell them to bring floodlights. My flashlight's been flickering for the past half hour. I've pointed it at the door, but I doubt it'll last long. Dear God, how could I forget? I should have just ran for the neighbors, or at least called the cops. It's too late now. How could I forget? The breaker box was in the basement. You know what's actually funny? I'm surprisingly calm for someone that's... And that is where the email ended. We have not seen or heard from him since.